What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're doing some trade rumors around Patrick Williams as he could be potentially dealt to the Milwaukee Bucks. Then on the second half of today's show, something we really haven't discussed too much here on the channel, but what about a Josh Giddey sign and trade? How likely is it? Casey Johnson, Bulls Insider, gave some insight on that as well. But before we dive into it, we got challenged by our bosses here at Chat Sports to pick up 50 new subscribers on today's show. It's a lofty goal, I know, but if you guys could help me out and help me avoid an awkward meeting with my bosses, hit that subscribe button today. We'll have a Bulls video for you guys every single day this week. So if you guys want to stay up to date on your favorite basketball team, hit that subscribe button today. All right, so this was the Bulls-Bucks trade idea that's been floated out there by multiple NBA insiders, and it's just a straight-up swap of Kyle Kuzma for Patrick Williams. Now, I have a lot of thoughts on this because I think collectively as Bulls fans, we aren't the biggest fans of that Patrick Williams contract. It's a doozy, and a lot of us want us to move off that deal, but is taking on Kyle Kuzma the best way to do that? Especially Kuzma, even though it's only the next 2 years compared to Patrick Williams over the next 4 years, he's still got a hefty deal. I mean, this year he's on the books for $22.41 million. Then in 2026, he's on the books for $20.34 million. Now, the only advantage of taking on Kuzma's contract over Patrick Williams' contract is Williams just has two more years on that deal. So, yes, it is nice that you'd be, freeing up cap space in 27 and 28, where right now it's allotted to Patrick Williams at $18 million per year. But I have just mixed feelings about this. Like, this is, again, a trade that would come through, and I would be excited a little bit that the Bulls were able to move off Patrick Williams' deal, but also just get a guy like Kyle Kuzma. Like, really, I have no interest in that. But just comparing these guys' numbers over this past season, like, Patrick Williams was not too efficient this past basketball year, and Kyle Kuzma, he's kind of a black hole with the basketball. You throw him the ball, you're probably not going to get it back, but he's a very talented scorer, can score at all three levels, even though he did not shoot the three-point ball this well this past season. But the question becomes with a deal like this, and honestly, any Patrick Williams trade is, how badly do you want to move off Patrick Williams' contract? Like, if the Bulls view this as a complete negative asset and it's going to, hinder their, chance to kind of get a reboot over the next 4 or 5 years, then, yeah, I would have some interest there. But I just have zero interest in Kyle Kuzma being on the Bulls. I don't think he's a good culture guy. I don't think he would come in this organization and, buy into this youth movement and the style of play the Bulls want to run. And, he's also just not that good of a basketball player anymore. He's a black hole with the ball. You throw him the basketball and it's probably going to go up. He's like a seriously poor man's Michael Porter Jr. And, also with moving off Williams, I know we've been very disappointed in him. Hasn't developed too well, but what if he ends up being a solid 3-and-D guy where maybe he gets up to 14 points a night, he shoots the three ball well, he's a plus defender, and that $18 million deal doesn't look too bad. He's still a very young player, 23 years old. A lot can happen over the next 4 or 5 seasons, but again, that contract, it sucks. And if you have a chance to move off it, I'm just curious if the Bulls front office would, take advantage of that. But I'll ask you guys this. Would you accept this deal? It's a straight up swap of Kyle Kuzma for Patrick Williams. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Would you accept this trade? Give me an A for accept or give me a D for decline. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. Now we'll talk about a Josh Giddey sign and trade here in a second, but before we do so, we have a sweet deal for all of you Bulls fans. If you want to get some more Bulls merchandise this summer, we have a 2 t-shirt combo pack, which is originally $49.99, but right now they're $29.99. So they're $20 off. So if you guys want to take advantage of this deal, hit that link, chatsports.com/Bulls combo. Put that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show to take advantage of this deal if you guys want to get some more Bulls t-shirts in your life. All right, let's talk about the latest around Josh Giddey. Still shocked he's not signed yet. It is July 10th. I thought he would have been signed probably during the first couple hours of free agency or even before free agency. I thought that deal was going to get done, but now we're going to explore every avenue here, and the avenue we really haven't, gone through is a sign and trade for Josh Giddey. So Casey Johnson was talking about it, and he said this. We've all documented that the Brooklyn Nets were the only team with significant salary cap space to sign Josh Giddey to a massive offer sheet. That space dried up with the trade acquisition of Michael Porter Jr. from the Denver Nuggets, so Josh Giddey has nowhere to go unless there's a sign and trade. As of today, I've not heard any sign and trade involving Josh Giddey. That's not to say one couldn't materialize down the road, but I'll emphasize, as I've said ad nauseum, both the Bulls and Giddy want to get a deal done. Now, Giddy was actually back in Oklahoma City this past week. Some guy asked him, he was like, hey, how do you like Chicago? He said he absolutely loves it. I'm sure he wants to be with the Bulls organization as, if you guys remember when the Bulls traded for him, his stock was at an all-time low. He had that off the field or off the court issue. He also was coming off his worst year as a pro, and the Bulls kind of brought him in, had him take over the offense and be the point guard of the future. So he wants to be in Chicago. Bulls clearly want him back, but it comes down to how much. And, you're necessarily just bidding against yourselves, because I saw this tweet out there saying with no teams having cap space, it's got to be brutal for the restricted free agents left. I mean, Kuminga, Quentin Grimes, Josh Giddey, and Cam Thomas. And no team can give them the contracts they want. Therefore, their current teams have the leverage. And the Bulls do have the leverage right now. There's no doubt about it. Like, you could offer him a 3-year, $30 million deal. He would obviously say no to that, but you could just make the argument where are you going to get that deal anywhere else? Because no team has cap space to give these guys. I mean, all of them probably want around $20, $25 million per year. And my biggest concern with this Josh Giddey contract, negotiation continuously going on is, what if a team makes a trade and they clear up cap space? We're very similar to the Utah Jazz. They just cleared up some cap space after trading John Collins. I think they could be a team that could be in play for Josh Giddey now. But what if a team's like, oh, we're big fans of Giddey. The Bulls still haven't been able to sign him to that extension. What if we make a trade, clear up cap space, and then we go throw him an offer sheet? I could see that being, in the equation. But I also think the Bulls, they should be considering a sign and trade. You are in no position to kind of narrow down a certain, take or thought on Josh Giddey. Like, the Bulls should not be saying, oh, we need to bring him back by any means necessary. Everything should be on the table, including a sign and trade. Because what if you're able to give him up to the Utah Jazz and they, send out, $12 million, sign him to a 25-year, $25 million per year deal, and maybe they attach a first-round pick? Like, that's something I would be interested in. So all options should be on the table for the Chicago Bulls, and it's just funny that this deal hasn't gotten done yet. I thought this would have been the first move they make 110%, but a sign and trade should definitely be on the table for the Bulls. And you never know. There could be a team we're not even thinking about that could be interested in Giddy. Like, what if, the Minnesota Timberwolves, for example, like, they want to move a couple of young pieces. They, acquire Giddy to be that guard next to Anthony Edwards. Like, any of these teams could just kind of come out of nowhere. That's why it is concerning that this whole process is going on for a very, very long time. So I still think it's going to get done. I think it's still 99% chance that Josh Giddey is back with the Chicago Bulls in or for Game 1 of next season. But you also got to consider, what if the Bulls kind of stiff Josh Giddey with these contract offers and they're throwing him like 3 for $60 and he views that as an incredibly disrespectful deal? He could just sign the qualifying offer. 1 year, $11 million, and then he's an unrestricted free agent next summer, where teams will have a lot more cap space. This year, I understand with the new aprons and the new CBA, it's just harder to just get cap space in the NBA. But next year, a lot more teams will have that, and I could see teams being interested in Giddy, especially if he goes out there in a weak Eastern Conference. Like, he could be a dark horse for the All-Star team. If he's an All-Star, he could go somewhere else, signed for $30 million per year, and then the Bulls just traded Caruso for nothing necessarily. So it's an interesting spot. I'm sure these negotiations are not fun for the Bulls front office, but we'll wait and see what happens. But again, I'm still very certain that the Bulls are going to be able to get a deal done with Josh Giddey. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, hit me with a C-Red down below in the comments section. And also, if you guys want to hit me up on Twitter for anything around the Chicago Bulls, it's a handle right there, @PatSieps. We appreciate all of you guys watching. See you guys next time. Go Bulls.